It can be a challenge to communicate and integrate your mission into your client messaging and experience. Here we discuss how Booker has achieved this and what the resulting reactions and lessons have been. So communication is a big part of implementing these initiatives. How do you communicate what you're doing with your guests and make sure that it doesn't impact their experience in a negative way?
Oh, absolutely. It's extremely important to really talk about a lot of the work that we're doing in the background, a lot of the initiatives that we have, obviously our sourcing, our purchasing, to our waste management, to obviously the events that we throw. But we must not forget that we are in the business of hospitality. So people are parting their way with their hard-earned money, coming to us for a dining experience. So anything that we do within the space of sustainability or anything that has to do with conservation must not really interfere with that. It needs to come as something that we're doing in the background. And that's really the way that we've always communicated to our guests. Obviously throughout our menus, throughout our different communication messaging platforms, all the events and collaborations that we do, there is always that underlying message. An initiative that we're either promoting within that event or something that is important to talk about within the space of the environment or issues that have to do with food and conservation in general. At the end of the day, like I said, it's extremely crucial to make sure that nothing is compromised from the dining experience, all the way from the guest's comfort to obviously serving delicious food.
Right. And then if they do want to dig deeper and find out more, the resources are also available.
Yes, of course. So if you open our menus on the front page, you will have a brief explanation of what it means to be dining with us in Boca. You will have a brief understanding of your carbon emissions impact as a guest with us. And if you're interested in understanding more, scan that QR code, you'll get the report.
And what has the feedback been so far as you talk to guests, as you kind of interact with them? What have they been saying?
It's been extremely positive and very encouraging, especially when we tell our guests about obviously the work that happens in the background in terms of our waste reduction, in terms of our responsible sourcing. That's been very, very positive so far and quite encouraging.
Amazing. And have there been any lessons that you've learned in the time that you've been implementing these initiatives? Are there things that you've adjusted? Are there new things that you've thought of in that time?
I think it's extremely important to be aware that this is a journey. We haven't figured out all the solutions yet. We are taking it one step at a time. We are looking at, obviously, in terms of priority, the items that have the larger impact. And based on the carbon emissions report that we've obviously just published, we are able to understand that in a lot more depth. So now we know that energy conservation is extremely important. Water conservation is extremely important. Obviously, we will continue to look at ingredients that have a lower impact, whether it being plant-based, obviously, or locally sourced. We are now making a lot more conscious decisions than we used to do in the past. And we're keeping our, obviously, eyes and minds and hearts open to, obviously, understand and learn from other partners or other people who are specialized within the different areas that we're looking at in order to see how that can benefit us and integrate into our journey. That's really been the lesson.
And do you feel that there are specific areas that strike a chord with guests? Are there things that they're more interested in or that they react to more? Are there specific areas of what you do in terms of your sustainable practices?
I think two parts. One of them is the incredible amount of growers and farmers and fishermen and just generally people who are growing fantastic product and ingredients that we can truly call local. When we introduce them, we always make it a point to mention the names of our growers and farmers within all of our communication, obviously including our menu. We like to bring them into the center of the discussion, especially when we're running events or collaborations. So that's always, we feel that the guest always finds that as something that's fascinating. And the other point is what we can do with what is traditionally considered waste. I think guests are fascinated when they see items such as stale bread or milk that's about to expire, or skins and peels being reintroduced into the dish, obviously without compromising taste and execution.
It's clear that clients really do care about sustainability, and this trend is growing exponentially. So in being proactive in this topic, you're future-proofing your business. Going forward, Boca aims to include more stakeholders, bringing governing bodies, landlords, and suppliers to the table.